Yo, what is happening? So, if you've seen the title of this video, um, you know what I'm going to talk about here. And the reason why in the title of the video I have the words or the phrase messed up in inverted commas is simply this. I'm going to just say this straight from the outset. You can't actually mess up your diet. You can't. And the reason is you can't mess up your diet unless you fail to get back on track. Now, if you don't get back on track, well then yes, you've messed up your diet. You've fucked up your diet. Whatever turn of phrase, whatever adjective you want to use to describe it. But this video is really just going to talk about, first off, how you can get back on track with your diet if you do take a diet break. Also, who this really applies to as well, because that is also very important. So, a key theme or a key concept that I really try and hammer home to any client that I work with, whether it be online or in person, and their primary goal is weight loss, is there really is no finish line for weight loss or fat loss. Again, like many people, I don't even like that term weight loss, because weight loss could be anything. It could be bone, it could be fucking muscle. So we're going to talk about fat loss. So there's no finish line. There's no deadline for achieving your fat loss goals. There are exceptions, and I'm going to get into it now. Now, unless you are somebody who is looking to do figure competitions, if you're a girl, for instance, physique competitions, fitness model competitions, you're a bodybuilder, of course. If you play a sport where there's a weight class, particularly combat sports, boxers, kickboxers, Muay Thai fighters, Jiu-Jitsu fighters, and people that do MMA, yes, there are of course deadlines to cut weight for your competition. Now, if you're not one of those people, and you're simply looking to, and also people who are looking to get lean and maybe down a certain body weight for a particular event, like a wedding or going on holidays, which at the end of the day, as coaches, we are going to invariably work with people like that, and that's absolutely fine. You can certainly set a goal for our deadline, a particular date to want to get in shape for, especially if it's for a big event like a wedding or something like that. But if you're not one of the people and you're coming to a coach and you simply just want to lose weight, there's no rush, there's no deadline, there's no finish line. It really is taking a slow and steady approach that really wins the day and is really sustainable for the long run. Now, again, I just want people to dispense with that notion of there has to be, a deadline or a finish line, or putting unnecessary pressure and stress on you to achieve fat loss goals within a, say, a constrained time frame. So you're not wasting time as well if you have fallen off the bandwagon, so to speak, or have taken a wee break from the diet. Particularly, this is very timely as well, because we've just went through Christmas and New Year's and the holiday period. So obviously people are going to be a bit more relaxed around food and have good food with family and friends. And that is perfectly fine and is perfectly normal as well. Everybody should be doing it. Unless, of course, you are somebody who's in a fortunate position of maybe being in a competition that begins in the new year. But with COVID, I doubt that's happening unless you are maybe playing elite level sport and with a weight class. So, another key thing about dieting is people run into this wee trap, this mistake of this all or nothing attitude of everything has to be perfect or everything's fucked. If you aren't perfect 24/7 every single day out of the year, then that means everything's ruined. Progress rather than perfection. That is the key point here. You are still making progress even if you do have a day where you have a cheat meal, or even if you really went off the rails and had a couple of cheat meals. Guess what? It is, you're not undoing your progress, and you're not falling off track if you get back on track the next day. And it's not messing up your diet, it's not ruining your diet, it's not fucking up your diet if you get back at it the next day. So I'm going to use a few examples as well, just to sort of highlight this notion as well to people who are watching this. People I've worked with as well have often said when it comes time to maybe have a cheat meal, go out with friends, have good food, whether it's pizza, fast food, whatever, a nice steak with chips or whatever you fancy, whatever you like, and invariably, most of the time as well, people are going to go out and have drinks as well with friends. Again, perfectly normal, perfectly reasonable as well. I wouldn't be a good coach if I wouldn't be able to factor that into the program and let you live as well, and let you live your life and enjoy food, not just strictly be dieting all the time. So I would always say to clients, listen, go out, enjoy yourself, have friends around, whatever, family, go for drinks, have some really good food. You're gonna go over your calories, and it's not the end of the world. It becomes the end of the world if it comes around the next day and you're like, do you know what? I weighed myself there. Don't like what I see in the scales. I'm just gonna fucking continue this cycle of, don't feel good about myself. I fuck my diet. I might as well go and eat another pizza, or I might as well go and eat another fucking burger. I'll go eat the whole box of donuts here because I went off the rails yesterday, and sure, I might as well just continue because listen, I've fucked it. I've gained all this weight, which by the way, the weight that you've probably gained isn't actually fat, it's probably just water retention, which could be flushed out of your system within the space of a day by getting back on track with your diet, eating your diet friendly foods, prepping your meals, things like that, counting your calories. So, I would rather clients go out, enjoy the food, have drinks, go to bed happy, satisfied, well fed, but confident in the knowledge as well that the next day that they're going to get back on track, that maybe it's Monday the next day and they're going to get back to counting their calories, prepping their meals for the coming week, getting back to the gym and training, confident, secure in the knowledge that yes, they went out and they enjoyed themselves with friends and family, had drinks, whatever, shot over their calories, but it's not the end of the world because also didn't weigh themselves either. They're just going to get back at it the next day, train, eat right, prep meals, and then there you go. Comes down to maybe a few days later, they weigh themselves, and not only have they maintained the progress they made the last week, they've actually went on and lost more weight. And I have seen that firsthand with a lot of clients that I work with and still continue to work with this day, particularly with online coaching. I check in on clients, ask them, did you enjoy yourself that night? Did you have good food? I do ask my clients how they got on, what sort of food they had, did they enjoy themselves? Because I want my clients to enjoy themselves. I want my clients to go out with friends and family and have drinks and have good food. And when they tell me yes, had a great time, had a blast, had all this good food, was maybe shooting over my calories by 1,000 calories, whatever, but here, didn't weigh myself, went back to work the next day, got back on track, got back on the horse, and lo and behold, I actually lost a few pounds. It's simple, just avoid the scale, just get back on track. It's all mentality, get back on track, forget about that one day, it is only one day, and you literally cannot gain any appreciable amount of fat in a single day. Like I've told people before, there's studies been done. The most fat that a human can conceivably gain in a day of overeating is a few ounces of fat, and that's by eating a hypercaloric diet of something like 10,000 calories or more. And listen, anybody watching this, who the fuck is going to be eating 10,000 plus calories a day? No one except The Rock, or maybe half Bjornsson, like Thor or Eddie Hall, or big powerlifters or strongmen who have to eat that many calories simply to be strong and powerful. No one's doing that. No average person is doing that. So it really shouldn't be a concern. Fat gain, you cannot gain any significant amount of fat in the space of a day. Now, if you continue with the overeating over the course of days, weeks, of course you're going to gain fat. But within a day, no, you're not going to gain much fat. It's really only going to be water retention that can be flushed out in a day. That bloating goes away within a day if you get back on track with the diet, the training, prep meals. And really getting your mentality back on track as well is a key thing. So, just as well to sort of maybe even finish up, another wee point I want to make as well is when people do go off the rails with their diet and they maybe overeat for a day, and then they just feel the guilt trip themselves, and then they end up continuing overeating and going to maybe a cycle of binge eating. Really, at the end of the day, what that comes down to is just it's almost like an excuse to validate why they're not getting back on track. So for them, they're like, I messed up here. Might as well just everything's ruined, it's not perfect, messed up, might as well just go and continue overeating here. The whole pizza, the whole box of donuts, whatever, it's an excuse, this built-in excuse that they make that in order to validate the reason why they're not getting back on track. But again, like I said, one day of overeating is not going to ruin your diet. Trust me. Getting back on track, getting back on the horse, and learning as well from mistakes, because it's not a mistake if you learn from it, is really going to be the key, and the key to long-term dieting and making it sustainable, and make it a sustainable part of your lifestyle and a sustainable way of achieving change. If you want to lose excess body fat and maintain it and keep it off, you have to have the habits and the systems built in place. Your training, your nutrition, your meal plans, and arguably I would say nearly just as important is those scheduled diet breaks, is those scheduled weekends where you maybe just have a bit of nice food. Even with females as well, whenever they get down to a particular level of leanness, what I often like to do with female clients is maybe diet hard for 2 weeks, and then the other 2 weeks in the month maybe pump the brakes, relax a wee bit, not diet as hard, maybe just up the maintenance calories, maybe even slightly above. And that's also in line with a female's menstrual cycle. Again, I'm not really going to get into that because I've touched on that in a previous video, but it is due to cravings and things like that. In the follicular and the luteal phase, there's a big difference there. And again, every female is different, so I'm not going to say that's applicable to every female. Every female's menstrual cycle is different. But just to recap and just to sum up then, you can't mess up your diet. You can only mess up your diet whenever you don't get back on track and you fail to get back on track. So really, it's shifting away from this all or nothing, has to be perfect all the time mentality to, doesn't matter if I take a day off by having good food, going out for drinks with friends, as long as I get back on track and as long as I get back to counting my calories, eating enough protein, prepping my meals, in the gym doing my workouts, really, you will be successful in the long run, especially, which is the most important factor, the most important variable behind you achieving sustainable fat loss and making it a long-term change. So thank you for watching, and if anybody's watching this and maybe is struggling with their nutrition, prepping meals, or maybe has been dieting in the past and feels like, oh, every time I take a cheat meal or take a wee diet break, I just can't get back on the horse and I beat myself up, you have a poor relationship with food, and you just need a wee bit of accountability and guidance, then listen, it'll be my pleasure to work with anybody who wants to have a coach who can guide you along the way throughout the dieting process, and not only achieve, a quick fix dropping of 2 stone or dropping 2 dress sizes, but not only achieving that, but making the process towards achieving that enjoyable and sustainable, and also learning to love the habits and the routines and the practices that you're going to implement to achieve that, and as well as that, enjoy good food as well. Being able to enjoy having good meals with family and friends and going for drinks, because trust me, it can be done, and I've worked with many people who've achieved it while enjoying themselves with good food and drink with friends. I had an online coaching client, a girl who dropped 33 pounds in the space of 12 weeks, and trust me, she went out and had drinks with friends and had good food as well. Another coaching client as well, online coaching, a good friend of mine, Connor, he also dropped something within the region of near 2 stone. He's maintained it since. He had Christmas there, didn't gain a single pound, enjoyed himself, and again, he's more for the better for it. So it's really just putting the practices and the habits in place and instilling the right mentality. You can't fuck up your diet, you can't mess up your diet, you can't ruin your diet. Just get back on track. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it, love you all.